Hi all, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's session, we will be discussing about conditional statements in Python. So let us take our first conditional statement, if statement. So if statements are used to execute a block of instructions only if a condition is true, then the following block of instructions will be executed. The syntax for it is if condition, open brackets and block of statements. Then if a given condition is true, then set of instructions will be executed. Then the flow diagram of if statement is if the condition is true, block of statement will be executed and it will exit and print the remaining statements. If the condition is false, it will exit and print the normal statements. Let us go to the code editor and perform with one example. So let us create a file which is known as example1.py and let us take a number n is equal to 5. So if n is greater than or equal to 0, we can print it as the number is positive. Then we can print one more statement, execution is completed. When I run this, you can see the number is positive since n is equal to 5. If the number 5 is greater than or equal to 0, the given condition is true because 5 is greater than or equal to 0. Now the following print statement will be printed. So this is the block of statement of the if block. So this block of statement is the number is positive, hence it is printed, and finally it will come out of this if statement and it will print the normal statements. Here the normal statements are print, the execution is completed. So these are the rest of the code are normal statements which will be printed after the successful completion of execution. So that's all with the if statements. Now let us start with the second concept of conditional statement, which is known as if-else statement. So if-else statement is used when a different block of instructions is to be executed depending upon the evaluation of the condition, which in turn returns the logical value true or false. So based on condition, the execution of block of statements depends either the condition returns a logical value true or false. So this exactly means a if-else statement. When you look into the syntax of if-else statement, if condition is evaluated true, a first block of statements will be executed. If a condition is false, then else block of statements will be executed. And if all the execution is completed, the normal statements will be executed. So this exactly the syntax. Now we can move on to flowchart. So flowchart of if-else statement, if a given condition is true here, then a block of statements will be printed and the if condition will be exited and rest normal statements will be printed. If a given condition evaluation is false, then block of statement 2 will be printed and the termination of if statement happens at exit, which is known as exit, and rest of the code like normal statements will be printed. So this is the operation of if-else statements. Now we can move to the code editor and perform an example there. So let me give a number of 5. If n is equal to 5, if n is greater than or equal to 0, print the number is positive, else print the number is negative. And I will print the normal statements as execution is completed. So I will just run this program and I will explain it later. So yeah, here if you could see, I have got the output. For how exactly it is working is, I have defined the value of n is equal to 5. Then I'm using if condition to evaluate a given value is greater than or equal to 0. So if 5 is greater than or equal to 0, I want this the number is positive block of statement should be executed. So since phi is greater than or equal to 0, the number is positive is printing, and hence this condition is true. It will exit from the if statement and print the normal statements. So print execution is completed. So execution is completed. Hence this is the normal statement which will be executed once the condition is evaluated. So why else is neglected is, if this is the condition is true, then this set of block of statements will be printed. If this condition is false, then else conditions will be printed. For example, if phi, in case of phi, I use -1. Now if I try to run this, you can see the number is negative, execution is incompleted because -1 is not greater than or equal to 0. Hence, these statements won't be executed, and it will go for else condition. Then the following set of statements will be printed. So here the number is negative, hence it is printed, and finally it will come out of if statement and print the normal statements, which is execution is completed. So this how the if-else statement works. Now let us move on to third set of conditional statement, which is known as if Elif else statement. So if Elif else statement is used to show a multi-way decision based on several conditions. For example, if you want to evaluate a given value with multiple conditions, then you can make use of if Elif else statement. So if you look back into the syntax, so if it has a condition, if it evaluates true, then block of statement will be printed. If condition 1 fails, then it will move to Elif and it will check for condition 2. Then if condition 2 is true, then block of statement 2 will be printed. Even though, and in some case, if condition 2 also fails, then it move to else and print the block of statement there. And finally, the last normal statements will be printed if the program runs or program is executed. So now let us move to the code editor and let us perform with an example here. So let me create a example now. So I will try to create a value n is equal to 5. So if n is equal to 0, I will print it as print the value is 0. I will try to check one more condition. Elif, if n is greater than 0, I will print it as the number is positive. If this condition fails, I will print it as number is negative. Then I will print the normal statement as the execution is completed. So if I run this, so since n is equal to 5, how exactly the if Elif else will works, I will just try to demonstrate it. So I have defined the value n is equal to 5. First, the interpreter will check if n is equal to 0. It will check if phi is equal to 0. This condition is false because phi is not equal to 0. Hence, this will be ignored. Then it will move to the second condition, if Elif condition. If it will check if phi is greater than 0. Yeah, this condition is true. Hence, it will print the number is positive. Hence, the output is number is positive. So since this condition is true, it will come out of if block and it will try to print the final statement like normal statement, whichever is available. Hence, it has been printed as the execution is completed. So let me take one more value as -2. Now, if I run this, you could able to see. So -2 is equal to 0. Since n is equal to -2, it will evaluate for first condition. If -2 equal to 0, this is not true because -2 is not equal to 0. Then it will move to the second condition, second Elif. So here -2 is greater than 0. Since -2 is not equal to 0, even this condition is ignored. And at the last, the final condition is it will move to the else and it will print the number is negative. And finally, the program has completed. It will print the normal statement which I have given here. It is the execution is completed. If I try to print it n is equal to 0, then if I run this, so it will check for the first condition, if n is equal to 0, where 0 equal to 0, yes, it will print the value is 0, and it has been achieved, the test case has been achieved here itself. It will come out of the if block and it will print the final or normal statements, which is execution is completed. So this is how the if elif else statement will works, and it is used for multi-way decision making based on certain conditions. So in order to evaluate multiple conditions, so we will make use of if elif else condition. Let's move to the fourth conditional statement, which is known as nested if statement. So the syntax for nested if statement is, if condition 1 evaluates true, then it will check for an internal condition, one more condition, which is nested inside the if condition. So it will check for second condition too. Even there the evaluation happens. If that condition is true, it will print the block of statement 1. If condition false, it will print the block of statement 2. If it doesn't works, it will finally print the else block of statements. And finally, after the completion, the normal statements will be printed. So for your convenience, if you look back into the example, then only will come to know the exact picture. So I will try to explain it in code editor. Let us take n is equal to 10. So if n is greater than or equal to 0, then I will add one more condition here. So I want to check if whether if given number is greater than or equal to 0. If it is greater than 0, I will add one more statement as if n is equal to 0, then print the number is 0. I will add else if a given number is not equal to 0 and it is greater than 0, then the number is positive. So if a given number is not equal or greater than 0, I will add a else for it and I will print as the number is negative. Then I will add a normal statement, execution is completed. So when I run this for an example 10, I need to get the output as number is positive. So let us see, and execution is completed because number 10 is equal to 10 and it is greater than or equal to 0 and it is not equal to greater than or equal to 0. Since it satisfies the first condition, then it will go for second evaluation within the if condition. So it will check whether 10 is equal to 0. So since 10 is not equal to 0, it will print the number is positive. If a given value is -1, then I could have get the number is negative because -1 is not at all greater than or equal to 0. Hence, if block will be eliminated and it will move for else block, and the number will be the print will be printed as the number is negative and print the execution is completed. Finally, if equal to 0, it will check for first evaluation in the if block. If n is equal to or greater than or equal to 0, since that condition is true, it will go for internal evaluation within the if block, and where the nested if condition is happening here, where one of the if block is located inside the if block. So hence it is known as nested if, and here once again the evaluation will happen where n is equal to 0, where n value is 0, 0 equal to 0, hence this condition is true and else will be neglected, and it will come out of if block and it will print the execution is completed as the rest of the code. So that's all with the nested if statement. I think we have completed all the conditional statements: if else, if elif else, and nested if. So these are the conditional statements which will be commonly used, and that's all for the day. Thank you.